What's going on, everybody? It's your boy Big O back in the building with yet another brand new video. I'd just like to take a second to say thank you to everyone who's tuning in. I hope all of you are having a glorious day. And today I want to talk a little bit about my striped neck musk turtle enclosure. There's the male. He's looking silly as ever with this moss ball on top of his head. But really, what I want to talk about is my PVC platform that I made to hold up the nest box. Originally, the nest box that I was using was a lot bigger than this one. I don't know how well you can see that from the overhead view. But it's just a little plastic tub. I forget how many quarts. It's pretty small. And like I said, the one that I was using when I originally made it was a lot bigger. And so, as you can kind of see, the platform seems to be bigger than, it seems to be made for something that holds something a lot larger. And also, it wasn't tall enough. Well, it wasn't tall enough with these containers because as I said, the other one was so much bigger that I didn't need those egg crate pieces stacked up to kind of bring it up to the level that I wanted to. So what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna make a brand new PVC sort of stand or platform or whatever you want to call it, and it's gonna be a lot simpler and a lot smaller to sort of fit that particular plastic container full of the sand. And then I'll use the one that's in here currently and I'll repurpose it in the future. I'll probably use it to make a shallow water platform for my narrow bridge musk turtles tank when I upgrade his enclosure. So, with all that being said, I went to Home Depot, got a few things. These are all the pieces that I'm gonna use to make the actual platform. This would be the corners, which this is made out of these two pieces right here. That has thread. These don't have thread. So you put them together, you get something like this, and then essentially these four 90-degree angle connections, the ones without the thread, are essentially going to be, this is what I'm going to turn into a square. And then this piece is going to hold the legs, and these caps are going to cap off the bottom of the legs so it can be as level as possible. And what I'm going to do is, after I actually build it, I'm going to use my Krylon Fusion. I got some black and some sort of camo green here, and I'm going to paint it with both these colors just to kind of make it look, give it some sort of this is my attempt at giving it some sort of naturalistic look, because just that, this white pipe in your tank, especially when your tank, you know, you have sand and you have all these plants, even though they're artificial, you know, moss balls are real, but you know, the more naturalistic I can make it is really like what I'm aiming for. You know, it's never going to be natural. I mean, keeping them in essentially glass boxes, but you know, I just, for aesthetics and for really the enrichment of the animals, I like to give them plenty of stuff in their tanks to kind of dig around in and mess around with, just to make it look good. So I got my 2-inch PVC, I got all my fittings and all my connections and my caps, and I have my Krylon Fusion, which of course, when dried, it is perfectly safe to use in an aquarium. I've used it in many aquariums over the last few years with fish and everything, and it doesn't seem to harm anyone or anything in the tank. And then I also picked up this piece because I'm going to use this for something else. Eventually, I do want to upgrade this enclosure. There's 3 of them in here. Like I said, there's the male, there's the adult female, and then I have another, oh, there she is. Then I have my other little female right there. So eventually, I'd like to get them into a larger enclosure. And when I do, I'll obviously switch things around, possibly add and take away different, tank furniture. And my idea for this large piece of PVC, this is a 3-inch piece. I'm going to also use the Krylon to paint this, and I'm going to use it as like an underwater sort of ornament, little cave kind of situation where they can kind of crawl through. And what I'm also thinking about doing is heading back to Home Depot and getting a couple of other pieces to kind of like, maybe I'll add like a piece right here with a 90-degree elbow to kind of come back this way, or maybe I'll just lengthen it that way, or maybe there are many things you can do. So I'm just gonna, like I said, I'll probably go back to Home Depot perhaps tomorrow, or whenever I get the next chance, and just kind of mess around with it and find out what pieces I might need to just like create something kind of crazy looking, and just because they really seem to enjoy that log right there. And it's very nice, it looks very natural, but they kind of like fight over the space in there sometimes, especially the male. I'm surprised whenever I see him like kind of just lounging and he's not in the log. It's almost surprising because he, unless he's chasing the girls around and looking for food, he kind of doesn't really come out of there. So what I want to do is, and of course I paid like 25 bucks for that thing, whatever, but when you think about it, I already have the Krylon, and I have 2 more cans of the black paint, and a can of the spray paints. I can get $6 or so. This particular piece right here, I probably paid like about $4 for it. Cost-wise, it's really a no-brainer. Like I said, this does look very nice, but I can get a couple of more cans of Krylon and get some really rough sandpaper and just like rough up the smooth surfaces of the PVC to kind of create some type of a surface that will sort of hold on to the paint a little better. I can just get kind of creative with it and spray back and forth different colors and come up with something that looks very similar to that. And like I said, you can add different pieces and make it however you want to look, and make it bigger or taller or whatever. There are many different things. And for the $25 that it took to buy one of those, I can probably make at least 3 of these. So really, it's a no-brainer. And again, it's fun. It's something that is just fun to do. Create little things for your turtle tanks. But we're gonna start measuring and cutting the PVC. I have my trusty PVC shears right here. Showed them off in one of my previous videos where I was discussing all of my tools and materials that I like to use for my DIY projects. You can go ahead and check that out. But yeah, got my PVC shears, and all you gotta do is open the handle all the way up, and it kind of opens, and as you kind of pump the handle, it closes up, and you can very easily cut the PVC with this. So I'm gonna get cutting and measuring, and I'll be back with the finished product. And we are back. I figured I'd show it off before I actually paint it. Like I said, very simple. Here are get a better idea of how it looks. I try to kind of visualize it before. But it's a very basic construction, a lot more basic than this one. This one, if you can, I can't really see if you, well, you can kind of see there, it's made out of, there's like a crossbar in the middle, just to add like more support. And then I have 4 of these T connectors on all the sides, kind of like connecting towards the middle. Again, it was just for more support because the original box was a lot heavier. But again, I don't really know how well this is gonna show up on the camera, but you can kind of get the idea. This one is a lot more simple, and I might have to adjust the height on the legs just a little bit because it's a little wobbly. But once it's in the sand with the nest box on top, it's not gonna move. All I gotta do now is paint it, and I'm gonna go ahead and do that now, and we'll be back. And we are back. It's actually about a day and a half later, and as you can see, the platform is now in the enclosure, painted and ready to go. The nest box sits on it pretty perfectly, and I really like the way it came out. I like the way the enclosure looks now. There's a bit of more of an open space sort of look. I think the only thing I'll do is probably add a background to it. I don't know if you can see all the way through. Back there you can see both the filters. I'm actually planning to put backgrounds on both of the 40-gallon tanks, but I think once I add that, things will look very, very nice. There's my big female crawling around. There's a male half buried in sand, as he usually is. And there's the other female peeking through over here. Where is she? Oh, there she is. But again, as we move back and give sort of a wide shot of the entire enclosure, really like the way it came out. In PVC, I mean, it's really some of the best stuff you can use for any of your DIY projects. It's inexpensive, it's readily available, and it's, you know, the end result looks good. Especially when you get that Krylon Fusion and you paint it. Obviously comes in a variety of colors that you can use as well, so you can kind of just go crazy with the imagination and just come up with all sorts of things. This is just a simple, easy little project that I decided to drop a quick video on, just so, you know, people who want to know can kind of just get a better idea of what it is that I'm doing. But with all that said, questions, comments, concerns, leave them down in the comment section. If you're enjoying the content, definitely thumbs up, definitely subscribe, make sure you don't miss anything, hit that notification bell. And until the next time, happy reptile keeping. Peace.